Indians as such are conservative, and they don't expose themselves too much. Or I would say, let's not take the word expose, let us say exploit themselves too much. It's important that we should understand the strengths that India has. I'd like to tightly digress here. You know, being dominated for so many years, but India has been able to absorb the cultures of those people who came in. India is one thing which could, just swallow all those cultures in one gulp, and it could still retain its original flavor. That is the beauty India is. I would say Bharat. India, that is Bharat. Now, when you talk about Bharat, it's got an ancient civilization. We talk about, epics of Mahabharata and the Ramayana. You talk about we talk about Buddha, we talk about Jaina, we talk about the religions which have come out of in India. Now these are all not stories. Jains are in India. Buddhism was there pre-Christian era. That means there was a prince and he became the Buddha and he made a way of life, a thoughtful way of life, and took it forward. Jain. That means the Tirthankaras were there prior to the Christian era. That means giving this small evidence goes to show that India has got a hoary past. We talk about Chandragupta Maurya. We talk about Porus who defeated Alexander before the Christian era. We talk about the relationship between India and the Macedonians. We talk about India's relationship with the Romans, Greek. That goes to show the hoary past of India. But somewhere we lost the pride. Somewhere we were led astray as Bharatvasis. Somewhere we lost our focus. Let us reignite ourselves. Let us come together as Indians. When we started off as Bharat, the original Bharat, you're talking of when the Mahabharata was written, Gandhari, he came from Gandharva, which is part of Afghanistan today. It is said that there have been warriors from Mesopotamia, Sumeria, and other places coming to fight in the Mahabharata war. Now, this is all what I heard from historians. I have not read about it, so if I am wrong, I stand corrected. But historians have said that people have come, authorities who have read the Mahabharata, from back to front and front to back, and interpreted in so many ways, have spoken about it. Some people are even saying that the Mahabharata has got a relationship with South America, the Aztec civilization, and the other civilizations of South America. Is it true? I do not know. But if you look at it, what I'm trying to focus upon is that India should regain its strength, its mental strength to focus that Bharat is one. And we have so much to supply to this world. And what is that we can supply today? And that is what we have to think about. Let us not be rootless. Let us be ruthless in accepting that we have a great root. The root should not die. It should spread itself. Somewhere, some of the roots became disfigured. They had to be cut away and thrown. But the main root is still there. It is still spreading its tentacles. And we are still living in India. Yesterday I read in a book which said that the 5 great villages, towns, which Krishna asked Duryodhana to hand over, are all still existing today in different names. So you can imagine the hoary past of India. Let us regain that pride in us. Let us regain the roots, go back to our roots, and understand that we should be proud of what India can give to the world and how we can take it forward. This is one of the microcosms I'm talking about. When we get our pride back, when we get our roots back, we get rejuvenated because the tree starts flowering, and that is what I'm talking. When we get our roots back, when we make ourselves proud that we are Bharatvasis, we will be able to understand how much we can give this world. And tourism is an area which India can give. Every Indian can contribute towards that area. Every Indian. He can sell India as a beautiful place, not the way in which the people who beg for alms go around showing the poverty in India, which has reduced so much over the years. Still talking about showing dirty children. They would have come from a place where they have played in a pond and they would have come disheveled. And those pictures they take and share, this is the kind of children are existing in India. It is not so. We are there. There is poverty all over the world. In the US, there is poverty. You take the big European nations, there is poverty. Japan, there is poverty. Australia, there is poverty. What is the thing that we are talking about? Why are they highlighting India? Because we don't feel a pride in it, and we are rootless. They made us rootless. Let us get back that root. What is that root I'm talking about? The original thinking capabilities of what Bharat was. We had maintained our traditions orally, not in writing. Our Vedas, our Upanishads, everything was in the form of prose, and people carried it over traditions. If you look at it, I like to compare here. How many of you would have read the book Roots? Roots is a book about an American who's an African American. He goes back and traces his roots to a place in Guyana, I think. And his name, original name, he turns up to be, when he goes and digs up its roots, known as Kairaba Kunte. Why am I talking about this? When you go back to your roots, you're able to understand where you came from and what that tradition had and how you were uprooted, taken as a slave, and you were treated as a slave. You're mentally made to think like a slave. When you cancel that thought process, you achieve what that African American could. He went back to his roots. And how did he trace his roots? How was he able to do it? It was on the people who were speaking about it. They were not written documentation. It is all being carried forward in the form of recitation, the minds of those people who are called storytellers there, and they carried the tradition one by one by one. And that tradition he was able to listen to those talks, to the singing, to the songs, and what those people expressed, and he was able to link him to that particular society. In the same way, when we come back to India, you are looking at a beautiful history which has been handed over millenniums, not 1 century, but millenniums, thousands of years. The same thing repeated in different formats. And those formats still exist all over the world. There's a format for Ramayana in Malaysia, a form of Ramayana in Thailand, a form of Ramayana in Indonesia. If you go to Angkor Wat, how far is Angkor, Cambodia from India? More than 2,000 miles. But in the Angkor Wat, what have we depicted? That Mahabharata war and the Ramayana. So you can imagine how far our traditions have spread, how far our tentacles have spread. Why I'm talking about this because I'm talking again to the microcosm. When we get our roots back, we understand where we come from. When we know where we come from, we will know where we can go ahead. Okay, I think I'll continue further later. Thank you.